Hi guys, welcome back to INFJ. Today we are going to talk about, or we're going to have a part two to our INFJ's good listeners. Before we get started, comment, like, and subscribe, and let's do this. So, INFJ listeners. So on my previous video, the part one, I talked about how INFJs give advice. Extroverted feeling likes to give advice. And advice is information because it lets you know what the person kind of was thinking about, or theoretically, of course, people can lie. Yeah, but it lets you know what the person was thinking about while you were telling them like your story or about your day. So I was talking about the controversies surrounding advice. Like some people feel like, oh, this person, someone finally gave me advice. They finally care about me, right? If someone has never gotten advice or the attention of someone even like listening to their stories, then someone giving them advice is gonna be like, yay. And then the next one, it could be a neutral reaction. So someone could give no advice, or someone could be neutral to receiving advice, or then also people could say unsolicited advice is rude, right? So there's all these controversies surrounding advice. It is, to me, it's kind of like, although I'm an advice giver, I also at the same time understand that it is like a slippery slope to arguments, which I mean is not the end of the world, but it is kind of like a little bit of a lift. And so, for me personally, it depends on how well I know the person. If the person and I are super close, I will give advice probably freely. They probably know that they don't have to do my advice, but like, I will caution people, right? There's that. If it's someone, the less well that I know someone, or the less educated I am on a subject, the more you kind of use, or I use, listening. I don't know if it's listening strategies, but it's like responding in a certain type of way. So there are just several phrases. The first thing I do is ask tangible questions. Asking tangible questions and details. So someone's telling me a story. Their brother called them and told them to pick up their pet. A question I might ask is, when did they call you to pick up the pet? What day of the week was it? Did you have work the next day? You know, calling to watch someone's pet on like a Saturday at 11 when it's the weekend is different from calling to watch someone's pet Tuesday at 9 p.m. when you both have work the next day and you live far apart, right? So just lining up those tangible things. When you ask tangible questions, it kind of gives you an insight into how the person is feeling about the subject they're talking about. And this is definitely not my first inclination. This video is not me tooting my own horn. I'm an advice giver. I'm not really I listen, but I spend a lot of time thinking about what I'm going to say, honestly. But I mean, like, we can listen. And so like when using these strategies helps the listening process. So just asking general logistical questions about stories is a good way to, or for me, this isn't professional advice. This is kind of helps me to listen is by asking questions. And sometimes when you ask a tangible question, you sometimes lead into a follow-up tangible question. So see how I am participating in like the dialogue, but I'm not making the person's story about me, which might be hard to do. No, I'm just kidding. Yes. So there's the logistical questions. And then after someone has completely laid out a scenario for me, I don't do this every time, but one thing I ask them is, well, what do you want? Like if they told me that they got like 3 job offers, and I say, well, what do you want? Like, because yes, we would, the initial celebration, but then like, what do you want from me, right? What do you want me to just celebrate with you? Do you want me to help you pick one? Do you want me to give my honest opinion? Like what, right? Asking what that person wants helps juggle that fraught space of, if you give advice, are they going to get upset? Right? And so, and it's not foolproof, and I don't remember this is not like my skill. Like This is like auxiliary extroverted feeling. INFJs can do it, but we're focused on introverted intuition. We're focused on where is this going? What is the deeper meaning? Extroverted feeling is something we have to bring out sometimes. It's something we have to, once we remember it, we're good at it, right? Like these listening strategies are natural to an INFJ. We are just not laser focused on it the way we are on the trajectory of where things are going. So, or the deep meanings that drive the conversation. So, yes. So that is where it's important to ask someone what they want, and it helps you kind of identify in this scenario because I know I talked about people can have different philosophies. Like one person could say, oh, like thank you for the advice. One person could be neutral. One person can be think advice is insulting. But like in real life, we, myself included, like in one scenario I think advice, like thank goodness, I'm neutral here, and then over here I might get crabby if I get advice, right? Because we're all human, so like in real life it doesn't matter. So you can kind of identify in that moment where that person's stance is on receiving advice on that subject. Yes. And also considering something that came to me right now, considering how much advice has that person gotten on that subject. If I have witnessed someone get like just advice after advice, like lecture after lecture from the people around them on a certain subject, I will like not not give them advice. Even, well, sometimes it depends. Like what if someone is cleaning their house and everyone's telling them how to clean it, and then I walk by and I see them cleaning and they missed a spot, I might just clean up that spot. Like that to me is kind of like the adaptive thing to do in that scenario. Because like telling them that they missed a spot, like at that point they have been cleaning their house for like 5 hours, right? Anyways, yes, there's just multiple ways to view this. So there are these things of figuring out where that person's stance is. And there's other phrases like you can tell me as much or as little as you want. Letting people know up front that they have an option to talk to you. And now this also is introverted intuition, because introverted intuition has foresight. So if you're an INFJ, what happens to you? People tell you deep things all the time. Doesn't matter how popular you are or how popular you think you're not. It doesn't matter. It happens. So we tell people, you can tell me as much or as little as you want. And as an INFJ, this is important because people don't always envision the consequences of sharing their stories. So if you are not close, and I do this with people who I'm not close with, if someone I am not close with starts to open up to me, I always say, not always, but I'll say, okay, you can tell me as much or as little as you want. Are you sure you want to tell me this? You can tell me, like, you have to let them know that this is actually an important part of a relationship, because by them telling you this deep personal story, it's going to bring you two closer. And this is really important for INFJs because this is how people see us. This is what we do. Like just walking down the street, not going to the grocery store, but just in our natural mode, this is the vibe we give off. So giving people a chance, people need a chance to think through if they want to tell this to the INFJ. Like think when we would always talk about INFJ delusion years ago in the INFJ community, and what would we say? We would say we were so close to someone and then they got scared. What happens is people try to get close to INFJs before they understand that they're getting close to an INFJ, right? And so it's really important to let people know, like, okay, you can tell me as much or as little as you want. Give them time to think about the fact they are about to get close to another person, right? So yes, there's all of these like strategies to mitigate and evaluate. If I am listening to something, if I'm giving advice on something, does that person want advice? Does that person want to listen? Does that person just want me to listen? These are all of these things. Okay. The next thing I'm going to go to might be specific to me, or might be specific to INFJs. Something I wanted to talk about that feels specific maybe to me is, do people believe in what they're telling you? This is something that has occurred recently. I would say this has come on my radar probably in the last like 3 to 4 years. So this has occurred after my previous YouTube channel. So one thing we talked about with INFJ delusion is that INFJs think they have a connection with someone, and the INFJ feels like that person opens up to us in a way that they don't open up to anybody else. So, consciously or unconsciously, I have kind of come to analyze if I think what someone is telling me is something that they are open with, or is it something that only I know, or something that everybody knows? And this depends. If you are close to a friend for like 5 years and they tell you something that they only want you to know, that's one thing. But right, we're an INFJ, so what do we do? What happens? People who we have known maybe for less than 3 months want to tell us super deep things, right? So as an INFJ, I think about, do people believe in what they're saying? And if people believe in what they are saying, it's not that they tell everybody, but it's this thing, and you hear this in the INFJ community, they're not shouting it from the rooftops, but they're also not dimming it and hiding it. It's like if someone really directly asked them, they wouldn't hide it. That's how I feel as an INFJ. Does someone believe in what they're telling me? Because if you believe in what you're talking about, that means that if anybody questions you, you will at the end of the day say, yes, this is where I stand, this is what I think, this is what I believe. When I feel someone, and I guess I've had this happen, I'm not talking about the romantic scenarios where, well, yes, I am talking about those romantic scenarios where someone opens up to me and they don't open up to anyone else. But what I've had is I've had friends tell me things where it was only that I knew. But then it was like a switch up when we were around other people. See how this is like a little like it feels fake, I guess you could say. Like it's probably not fake as we experience where you tell someone, oh, you look great, and then you're like, oh, she's chopped, you know. But it's like fake in the way of, okay, like you're telling me that you love is that my stomach? Oh my god. You tell me that you love PBJs, but when it's time to pick what we're going to eat, you are not going to stand up for PBJs, right? And so this is kind of really this is something that I guess I've come to think about as an INFJ. If someone doesn't believe in me, and this could be like a hard stance, like the food you like. This could be the restaurants you like. This could be something like how much you like something, how much you don't like something. If someone complains to me like all the time about a certain friend and how they don't like that friend, and then that friend is mean to them, and you stick up for them, and then that friend is mad at you, right? So there's so many different ways where someone can get you on their side on one thing and then go back on their word when they are actually challenged, right? And so this is kind of what I think I mean when I say, do people believe in what they're saying? Because if you believe in, and I already said this, if you really believed it, your response would be the same if everyone asked you. I guess this is extroverted feeling, because I guess I'm like responding. My views, I guess, are what I decide myself, and then when asked, I guess this is how I would respond to a group. I don't know. But yes. And this also helps prevent the INFJ from becoming an outlet. Like the INFJ is a person in a relationship. I know it's hard. It's always a goal. It's always our North Star. We all want these mutual loving relationships. But I mean, they're difficult. Life is hard. But the goal is to have a balanced relationship and a mutual one, instead of being an outlet for someone to just be themselves around you. Whether that's a romantic situation where someone is only themselves around you for this sliver of time that they're with you, or if it's a friendship where they are only a certain part of themselves around you that they don't show to everybody else. And everybody has things that they keep private, but like, to what extent is this occurring, and how is it making you feel? How is this person like gracious and kind in their efforts to maintain an image, or are they like spiteful or conniving, right? So it's the emotionality also around it. So this is very much how I view like listening and advice giving. I hope this was a good clarifier to that first video, and I hope this helped. Thanks.